La Fondazione Stelline presenta la mostra dedicata a Vanessa Winship, prima donna a vincere il prestigioso premio Henri Cartier Bresson nel 2011. Questa mostra è organizzata dalla Fondation Mapfre di Madrid e coglie i grandi cambiamenti che la storia imprime nel paesaggio e nelle persone che lo vivono. Ci è sembrato un omaggio particolarmente contestuale rispetto al momento che Milano sta vivendo. Siamo alla vigilia di un evento internazionale come Expo 2015 e parallelamente stiamo vivendo la creazione, la nascita della città metropolitana. Ecco perché ci è sembrato particolarmente utile portare a Milano in questi giorni lo sguardo attraverso cui Vanessa Winship ha prodotto questi 100 scatti, perché proprio sono un modo di cogliere i cambiamenti sia sull'impatto territoriale che sull'impatto umano.
Le fotografie di Vanessa Winship stabiliscono un dialogo con dei diversi luoghi del mondo che hanno subito la vicenda dei progetti politici, economici o di convivenza che hanno lasciato delle tracce molto chiare non solo sul territorio ma anche sulle persone. Diciamo che se c'è un concetto dietro alla sua fotografia potrebbe essere quello della fragilità, della vulnerabilità. Questa foto di quest'onda sull'acqua che appartiene al suo ultimo progetto negli Stati Uniti potrebbe rappresentare molto bene quell'idea di una fragilità, di qualcosa che appena è nata cade, perché appunto il suo lavoro è cominciato in un periodo e in un luogo del mondo molto preciso, che sono i Balcani e il Centro Asia, dove si vede molto chiaro l'impronta di un passato che ad un certo punto è crollato.
In Albania and Kosovo, history has left its imprint on both the physical landscape and the psyche of the people who inhabit this land of contrasts, of great beauty, but also scarred and destroyed both from within and without. Once ruled by a system of blood feuds and later a 50-year dictatorship that left the area isolated from the world outside, when it finally emerged, people were like prisoners let out into the light for the first time, blinking and uncertain. They fell into a government-backed get-rich-quick pyramid scheme which left an already poor nation and its people bankrupt. As an expression of its anger, the country turned in on itself, destroying everything that represented what had been state-owned, and for a while it remained in the state of anarchy. On the doorstep plains of the southern Balkans, the Albanians of Kosovo faced another fate in a conflict with their Serbian neighbours. The power of collective dream has sustained the Albanian psyche, waiting to be healed, and has left its land oscillating between forgetting and remembering. This is the place where I buy from a kind of messenger the seeds for the imagination, wrapped in the scraps of an old music manuscript. That is until the wind and the rain carries them away. Everywhere on the streets I see their remnants, the empty husks of sunflower seeds sold for pennies on street corners by old women, a staple of the whole region. They act as a kind of measure of too many hours without work and what remains of memories and dreams. I went to Georgia for the first time in 2003, not long after the Rose Resolution. Like so many places with a sense of its ancient past, Georgia was a country that seemed to be in love with an idea of itself. It is a place where people are comfortable in celebrating the good fortune of the beauty of the land they inhabit. Confronted by depictions of their own images, from the walls of churches and cathedrals to life-size portraits of loved ones set in the landscape, painted to commemorate a life once lived. During my time in Turkey, one enduring image struck me wherever I travelled. The schoolgirls in their blue dresses with their lace collars and sweet messages embroidered on the bodices. These uniforms, the same in every town, village or city, were the symbol of the Turkish state. but the people who wore them were simply little girls. Until very recently, many girls had never crossed the doorstep of a school due to a combination of traditional values and a suspicion of anything that represented the state. Conscious of this situation, the Turkish government launched a campaign to get more girls into school. I decided to make a series of portraits of these girls. I wanted to give them a space in which to have a moment of importance in front of the camera. Every frame was made at the same distance in an attempt to give a kind of equality to each girl. There is something exquisitely beautiful and yet profoundly disturbing about the United States of America and the struggle in search of the American dream. Whilst I knew this to be a metonym being sought everywhere in the world, I wondered what lay at its basis, perhaps an idea of opportunity and possibility. So my journey was twofold, one for my own search of that dream and also of the people I met along the way. The United States of America is like a famous personality. We feel we know, and as a result we treat with a certain familiarity. For me, this closeness came from the exposure to film, photography, music, literature and popular culture. I made small pilgrimages of other photographers who had stepped there before me. They had been my unofficial teachers. I arrived carrying with me a spectrum of second-hand information and my own instinctive barometer of where and who. Then I searched for a way to begin to understand and articulate something about a place that I realized I was completely unfamiliar with. When I was invited by Fondation Mapfre to make a new work in Spain, Almeria was suggested. I had a sense of Almeria as an old and new frontier, from abandoned windmills and watchtowers dotted within the territory to the remains of Moorish cisterns, or an old tree that had been transported from where it had once grown to one of the created landscapes that resonated with the West in America, where I had been only the year before. This series of pictures make up a set of visual sentences that speak of anonymity, the nature of work, a presence in absence, a cycle of life that repeats, persists and goes on.